This one from Dog Pound Daily. 3 Browns that must be extended after the salary cap hike. Number 3, they say Amari Cooper, $23.77 million is the cap number this year. Number 2, they go with Nick Chubb, $15.825 million cap number here. And number 1, they say Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He will be doing a new deal, and we'll see how that goes. It will be interesting to see what they do with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Let's welcome in Kenny Roda from the Kenny and JT Show, News Talk Radio, 1480 WHBC. Kenny, as always, appreciate the time. You know, the salary cap went up $30 million, and we talked about that a little bit earlier in this show. When you do stuff relative to that because of that, that's where you have mistakes. Look at what happened when the NBA had the huge salary cap jump. Timothy Mozgov got like $56 million from the Lakers. Andrew Berry, I would be shocked if this affects what his thinking is relative to free agency.
The reason Andrew Berry got the job as the general manager of the Cleveland Browns is what? Because he was a salary cap guru, right? So this is his specialty. This is in his wheelhouse. So he's going to look at this team, evaluate it, and not going to overspend, but try and spend wisely. And of those 3 guys that you listed there that deserve, I should say, to be, re-upped, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, end of story, first and foremost. You take care of him. In my opinion, you have no other linebackers on this team that can make a difference. You've got a bunch of role players, and they don't value the linebacker position as much as other teams do, right? So your best is J.O.K., and he's that hybrid that can play linebacker. He can even rush from the end. He can drop as a safety. So he's the most important of those 3. I think Amari Cooper is a guy that I don't want to throw a ton of money at as he's getting older, maybe on the back 9 of his career, even though he's your number 1 receiver. And Nick Chubb, they know better than we do, David, as to whether or not he's back to 60%, 70%, 80%, where he'll be on opening day. But your running back room isn't that strong, in my opinion, pun intended. So he's a guy that I would put second that's on your list, and Cooper third. So I like the order they're in. The most important guy that I need to re-up of that group is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is I would do incentive-laden things where if Amari Cooper continues to perform, he can make that money. But if he doesn't, I'd do the same thing with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, you want the cap number to still go down, but you give him the ability, if he's Nick Chubb, you give him the ability to make even maybe a little bit more money than the $15 million.
Obviously, he's your best offensive player when healthy, right? We talked about him being the best player on the team when the season started last year, ahead of Myles Garrett. And then, of course, he has that catastrophic knee injury, second time he's had a serious knee injury. So where will he be? But if he's 80%, that's better than most running backs that are 100% in the NFL. I'm a huge Nick Chubb guy. I hope he's able to make it back, and I like your thinking there. If you want to re-up him, look at what most running backs are making, the average, but use the incentives to allow him, if he finishes top 5 in rushing yards, top 5 in total scrimmage yards, touchdowns scored, playoff games, give him those incentives that you can pay him down the road.